Thank you.
Call please.
Shannon. Johnson.
Here.
Yax.
Here.
Small.
Here.
Brady.
Here, I accept the motion to approve minutes from August 16th, this special meeting August 24th.
So move for both.
Moved and seconded. Any comments? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. I'm gonna add to new business today, Milton Township ordinance, solar ordinance. Review. First public comment. Open 3 minutes, please state your name and your township. None to be had, excellent. Not excellent, but good for today. Open it online just in case. If we turn it in, all right, good. We'll move on to presentations and Jennifer. Report, please.
Requested Stephanie to include some information regarding some fiscal budgets that the court has been working with, and they have one other that came in this morning. Basically, the only request the court is making at this time is for the board to allow Adam to sign, the chairman to sign some documents we have. First one would be an amended grant, and once it's been amended and approved, I'll provide it to the treasurer's office for our current state grant for the drug court. That's one that has been modified 5,000 because it's negotiated that with them, so we just need our funding unit chair to sign that. The second one is the FOC CRP contract, that's up for renewal. We had it extended already. Now they've actually been from 24 through 28. They're ready for Judge Mohawk. Our chief judge has already signed it. We just need our funding unit to sign that one as well. And finally, the last signature I'm requesting is this morning, I was given the child care fund budget from the Department of Health and Human Services for fiscal year 23 through 24. That I'm asking, and I have that in hand for you to sign to you both. With that. Total amount is 306,745. 745, yep. These all have been approved by the judge, the chairman, and the planning unit sign these documents.
Stephanie, do you have motion language, please?
I don't have motion language, but I have all three of the contracts right here.
So-
Find what their titles are.
I'm sorry, I mean, the MDGCP, which is a drug court grant, essentially DocuSign, they said they already sent
Yeah,
you
I
that.
know, I'm just trying to,
Yeah.
we didn't make a motion here, so I didn't say it right.
And the same thing with the grants for the.
Yep.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, I just put the look. What was the first one? The first one, please.
The drug court, they amended our grant by 5,000.
Make motion that all those share the sign.
Report.
It was supported, roll call, I guess.
Brady.
Yes.
Small.
Yes.
Yax.
Yeah.
Johnson.
Yes.
Brumman.
Yes.
Non-review to approve the child care budget for 2024.
Moved and seconded. Any comments, questions? Roll call.
Yax.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Brady.
Yes.
Brumman. Yes. Small.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, after that, but really also didn't say it, I'll put a chair down.
The third one was.
CRP contract. that was-
I'll make a motion for that. Here be for FOC. Who supported? By Craig. Any comments, questions, concerns? Roll call.
Small.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Brady.
Yes.
Brumman. Yes. Yax.
Yes.
Thank you all very much. Once they're signed, by you, then they're executed, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Mr. O'Connor, if you would please.
So just thanks for that, commissioners, for a few minutes of your time. I'm here to kind of just present information on our bond proposal. It'll be on the ballot in November on the 7th. We kind of began this process about almost a year ago now at this point, with community groups, student groups, staff groups, and a facility study that essentially identified over $30 million worth of infrastructure upgrade essentially that the district is gonna need to make in a certain amount of time. And so we pared that down as far as we could with all the different stakeholder groups and ended up with about a $20 million approach to the community and a ballot in November. What you'll see on a 2-page document is just kind of an outline of essentially fixing a lot of our infrastructure needs. We have a big footprint for a small district, but we're also factoring with supports and students and then so we have added an extra second grade, we've added another preschool this year as well, and brought back an alternative ed academy this year as well. And so, you know, we've got a lot of unique opportunities for a small district that we're able to offer for our students, but you know, we're gonna have to address, you know, some of our infrastructure needs. And, you know, we're at a point right now where I feel like I'm not doing my job by telling our story and presenting this to the community and letting them decide, you know, where in fact they decide to vote. Everyone's obviously got to do what's best for them and their situation. On the backside of that, you'll see that we're on the second page, you'll see the taxable impact on homeowners, and essentially you get the market value of a home and then you get the taxable value, and don't forget the impact based off of the value of the scatter. So there are 2 new facilities being proposed as part of that bond. That will be less than 10% of the entire bond. So you're looking at Agri-Science Livestock Center. That location to be determined. I know it identifies on our vision boards that it's going to be near the district office potentially, but we're kind of obviously waiting to get a little further in the process and see what happens in November before we identify a specific location. That will have 4 pens for different livestock and a small classroom for students and bathrooms, and then an indoor recreation facility that would be connected to the elementary building. So the logic behind that one was, we've got 60 to 80 days of indoor recess a year, depending on temperatures and weather. And those students being stuck in a classroom and able to spread out or do anything really negatively impacts their academics too. And you're not able to get out and move, and kind of ramps up some behavior. So we feel like a small gym-like space, just trying to make it diverse, would offer another setting for students to be able to move around. And we also feel like that could be used by the rest of our, you know, 400 students as well throughout the year for different activities. And our community use is skyrocketing right now too, as we have a lot of different community groups, you know, wanting to use the facilities, particularly the gyms. So that would give us another option for some to be able to use as well. But a pretty small building, you know, really looking like a gym-like space in that area. But other than that, a lot of the security infrastructure, classroom furniture hasn't been updated in 20 years plus in most spaces. So that would address that need a little bit there as well. There's a lot of attention to traffic flow on campus, parking lots. There's a lot of room for improvement, I would say, at the elementary building in terms of traffic flow, morning pickup, drop off. And in front of the high school, that parking lot particularly is in really poor shape, and traffic flow in that space is really poor and can be drastic upgrade to. Typically, the first question I get is, well, wait a minute, we already have a sinking fund that, you know, is supposed to address all this, and that is true, but to get to all those things on that list is 40 years of sinking fund to put it in perspective, and so that we would never get to it all before we're already circling back around and fixing the things that we've already fixed with our current sinking fund. That makes sense. So it's a lot of information. This is my first meeting. I'm starting the tour, I would say, over the next 6 weeks or so, and then probably swing back around for a few. We're gonna hold an informational session or two in the building as well, and invite people to come in and kind of show them some of our needs, and we'll take feedback and questions and go from there. We've not had an active bond since 2015, so that was paid off a little bit early. Actually, that was going to be a 20-year bond, and I think it was paid off 3 years early. Obviously, the board may do the same thing. You know, as interest rates may fluctuate, maybe able to refinance and potentially sell those bonds off and use the tax earlier than the 20 years that's projected. But can't commit to that, but that would be ultimately the goal. Scope of the work would likely be over the next 3 summers, so 24 through 27. We try to knock that. I think we have to have 90% down within 3 years, and then we can do a little bit of a buffer, you know, based off the last few months. I'm sorry, 20 years. 20 years. Yep. The tough ask during a tough time, there's no doubt about it, with the inflation and cost of living and things. So it's, you know, everyone needs to do what's best for themselves, but got some needs that we're gonna have to figure out how to address, at some point in the near future, and this is one option that. We are looking at in the short term, to try to be able to make some long-term improvements. We're talking about fixing what we currently have. Right, proposing a bunch of new facilities and building a new school. We've got some good components, we just gotta update some. Set zero piping and, some of those other infrastructure pieces that are just kind of, right above that tipping point right now where. You don't want that safety fund to be a reactionary thing, like, oh, your boilers are gone, so now you gotta, pivot to that, and you'd like to be more strategic and, with the bond. Potential that would allow us to be very strategic to their safety fund and have a long-term plan on that for this year. I think that whatever fails next, so. Questions for me?
Dan, I did have just a quick question. And so the verbiage from the attorney was everything but this,
That statement.
that one statement right there. Right? So this is how it will appear right on the ballot.
Yep.
Okay. We're gonna be working on that here quickly.
I know it's a big ask on local courts, that's the first go around through, the changes to the election process.
Not this one.
So. Absolutely the only item on the ballot, numbers, so there's. Pros and cons to that, so. Off to you, yep.
I just have one. If there's a way, because people have been called, I don't know if you can put this out there.
Not fully yet, but
Okay,
yeah,
we have a few questions on it. Let's see.
yeah,
As a, just because this is not a property tax thing, that we can offer that. And we've had a good, just that,
yeah, one word, that would help, okay.
or somewhere in there. That it's
Yep.
income tax.
Yeah, I can do that.
Anything, our last time. All the success, I would think.
Yeah.
In the community, it's really embraced, I mean. It's amazing, that was a big deal for other school to do. And like that was, there was some nervousness about. Well, getting that kind of money and doing that, but I think it was. That's it.
The difference in the past bonds is that there was new builds, like the focus was new, it wasn't ever to go back and repair necessarily, so that's kind of the pieces that we're picking up right now in terms of trying to get them move forward, so. And we really worked hard at opening up access up to the possible end of those facilities. I know during some years when help was slim and school funding was in a tough spot, it might have been more of a hesitant, to, allow access to that, but we'll try to work with anybody that wants to use facilities as soon as possible, and not charging folks for that time unless we have to clean it or, do some technical help, potentially lights and auditorium and things, so. That was, I think it was an incredible success, actually, that money, and now, like I said, this isn't a lot of shiny new stuff, but like I said, it's, there's a lot of guts and infrastructure and, some slight remodels and some classroom spaces. Just for information for the board, safety fund will go back on the ballot in 2025, so. That will have to, again, explain our situation, depending on how this goes, whether it's successful or not, and, go from there. All right, okay. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions, or you find people with questions, I'm glad to answer, and just try to make sure everybody's got the correct information, I think is probably the key thing, and not, it won't pay for people, I think that's another question I consistently get, so it's okay for physical people, it's just they're updating it in people's face, so,
This will be on YouTube if you want to use it.
okay, thanks. Yeah, thank you. All right, have a good time.
Yeah. That does it for the presentations today. Oh, there's the one right there. Went on order. Not bad. I guess we're on the claims. We've been dumped in there. Finish. Claim. There, you can do it.
I'd like to make a motion to approve pre-authorized claims. No complaints presented for payment between 8/16/23 and 9/05/23 for check numbers 151-603 to 151-782 and e-check numbers 2185 to 2200 for a grand total of $845,551.72.
Move to seconded. Any comments, questions, concerns? Roll call, please.
Johnston,
Yes.
Brumman. Brady,
Yes.
Small,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Next item. The fiscal year 2024 MSU extension agreement. Looks like. It was the MSU for the county, $78,590.
How much of a use that wasn't it?
Carolyn, I can't hear everything.
You're about to say. I wonder what it was compared to last year.
An increase from last year to this year.
Oh, I don't have my bunch of stuff down here. Looks pretty close to it, but. I'm not sure.
That's maybe 74 something, maybe about a $4,000 increase. I don't have my stuff down here. I don't know that budget salary off the top of my head. I thought it was 74 something.
I think you may be right.
Okay. Let's see what it says.
I would move to approve the permits for MSU extension services as presented and authorize chair to sign.
I'll second that.
Move to seconded. No. Revenue. $81. See. I didn't look it up properly.
The millage money exceeds what they are requesting for their,
Yeah, all right.
so we have a small amount left over for this incidental.
I don't have good numbers, but I think you're right. It's not much different. Any more questions? Discussion?
Is your intention next year to renew that millage? Or not?
Yes. Well, I don't know, my personal opinion, yeah.
I'm sure they'll try to, they'll begin their campaign,
I mean, that's
take a
you,
couple of people.
that's you, that's the county.
Well, they'll start their campaign of, they'll wanna go out and, they're gonna ask us to do it, for sure. If they want, I'm sure they will. Because that'll be the question, whether we wanna do that. There might be some. Things to hurt on them.
Think that they're gonna want to stay in the community.
I would think.
Guess we're gonna find out. Okay.
Yeah, personally, I would say. I would vote to. Village. Okay, any other questions? All right, roll call, please.
Small,
Yes.
Brady,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
Actually, quite committed to doing this.
I think this is just,
Is what Sheriff's point was, I just realized. I figured eventually it took me a while to get there, but. Cause this leads into next year. We're offset from March.
they have another year of millage, don't they?
This is the final year,
This is the final year.
I believe.
Oh, this is next year.
So by agreeing to this, we better. Plan on putting that millage up again.
Yeah.
MSU is budgeted in the winter, the money that's spent
they're spending last year's tax out of it. This
Next year.
collection will be the final year that we can fund the MSUE. To the
Right.
full extent without another one,
Right, so
because
this is funded right now.
So we have to get it on
Well, they will request us to put it on there.
what's the first ballot next year? April.
August. Well, you'd be having your own special election just for that, so they would probably put it out in August.
Could that go on the primary?
I haven't heard positive, but that they didn't want anything on the presidential primary ballot, other than the presidential primary. But that's not official yet.
looks like you're having an election this winter. That is November.
I'd do some, I'm gonna get that worked out.
So was this a?
That filing deadline's coming on.
Who,
I believe so,
they can decide if we can put stuff on that ballot,
beginning in 20.
who is they?
That was
For the
first
presidential
year.
primary.
Really?
I read that. There's been no, that's just what I've heard, but I also heard that the election's gonna be in February instead of March, and that's not official yet either.
It's not because they have to have 90 days after the session is closed in order for all the clerks to do all their work. That would require the session to end at October.
But they're also talking about moving the August primary to
February.
June,
Oh,
our primary. Locals.
locals. So it's a whole different, okay.
So
Oh,
your special election date, if you're gonna do something like that, would be a large county expense for a special election.
Well, we can do it in June or August and still be okay. Yes, okay.
Well, correct? For the taxes.
So what has happened before, I was served on it last time, Karen, they probably did on the 4-H. When they do the whole thing, so last one was in 20, they'll come to us and say, okay, 2 of you, and then they get a couple other people from the community, and they want to go out and canvass and get support for the ballot, ask us to do that, and go through that whole process. So they'll let us know when they're. they want-
No, but it's very important to note that we have to make sure we get that, millage on there.
And then the others that we want.
County, 4029 told you when all those are gonna fall off. Ambulance,
If we got an ambulance, we'll do.
they're 911, I don't know when they end, it's a lot.
L 129, you said?
4029,
L 4029.
have them all on file in the office.
Okay. Okay, next up. Feel like improvement board motion. You want to field this for us, Carol?
Well, as you recall, there has been, ever so small as it may be, but nonetheless, a push by a few to dissolve FLIB, Cedar Lake Improvement Board. And what is being offered to the board today is an indicator to whomever that, in fact, this board does support FLIB and feels that the things they've been doing are beneficial to Cedar Lake as well as the entire county. And that is what our motion that's coming before us today.
Oh, okay, so you're making that motion?
I would be delighted if somebody else would like to.
All right, I'll make the motion. As written. The motion is, do they have a copy of it over there?
The Oklahoma County Board of Commissioners hereby indicate their support and endorsement of the continued activities of FLIB for the well-being of the residents of Cedar Lake area as well as for the county of Oklahoma as a whole.
I will, second,
I'll second it.
okay, motion by me, second by Craig.
Did I ask that we put in there that we send that to both Liv and Alaska County Board of Commissioners?
So is there anything that we're gonna try and improve?
Yes,
I mean, I think it's.
unfortunately, we're gonna have to spend money to do it. But,
Is that gonna entail all of us pitching in?
It'll just be TLIB money that will be spent on that rather than other improvement. I don't want to.
And what do you mean by improvement? And changes?
At this point, we don't believe there's any additional property that should be bought. We have three pieces. They all withhold or are holding groundwater that will flow into Cedar Lake to help enrich or enhance the water, so lake level, even though we are not. Lake level is strictly belongs to the Drain Commission. Cliff does not have any involvement, but that doesn't say that we can't try and make sure that we help with that. The biggest, hardest really one is the weed control, because we really don't have any control until they do the check in June usually. So we had 1 year, I think we did, I can't remember who came first, but we had 1 year that the cost of getting the weed control and weed spray done was in excess of $100,000. I think it was the following year, we were like at 60,000, and it just vacillates. I think we had one not too many years ago that was 55,000, approximately 55,000, and that 110 is the highest we've ever had. Usually it runs in the $60,000 to $70,000, and the hydrometers, the measuring of the water levels to the west of the lake. Some of those kinds of things, if we had to spend money on the weed control, we would not be able to do as much research, as much in depth for that type of thing. We were very fortunate that we had saved enough money to purchase really the most productive watershed that we have, and that's the one recently that we purchased over in the northwest corner of the lake. As soon as we get some of the issues moving forward, we will be putting that, the property, the one piece of property, there's three pieces of property. One is on the west side of Cedar Lake, and two are on the east side. One did have a house on it that was in very poor shape. The house has been demolished, the property has been cleaned up. And on the south side of that property is where the drainage comes down from the west property on the west side of Cedar Lake. So we don't need the property where the house was, where the house belonged. But we need to maintain, to keep that drainage clean, so because the beavers just love to prevent it from a nice clean flow down the channel. So, and it also needs to be cleaned out periodically, which it has not been in some time. But that helps the water level in the lake. And it helps people do more loading, more effectively and so on.
Okay, any other questions? Then, well, if we need a roll call for this or not.
From my perspective, no, but that's your chairman.
All those in favor?
Hi,
All those opposed? Motion carries.
thank you all.
We're going to today. Finance report is next.
Township.
Well, oh, right, Millen Township, I got it right here. Millen Township has forwarded to us their ordinance for solar. The standard procedure is if we don't reply within 30 days, it's automatic yes, unless the commissioner from that area wants to kind of vote today. Answer is no, so moving on. Now finance report. We had a short meeting before, meeting today, we're gonna have another one after, so If we decided to move any money, and Cheryl, unless you have a different opinion, do we need to move any money today, okay? We are getting ready to kick off 2024 budget planning. So everybody be aware. As soon as the clerk's office gets the wages and other things worked out, we're gonna send out the different department heads, fill in the rest, and get that process going.
The only thing I would ask is that you make a decision as a board at some point. For. The amount of. Or lack of amount of increases. As a board vote, because you as a board set that wages for the year,
Oh, okay.
unless you want a tentative. You know, needs to be recalculated again. I don't know if you're. How you want to handle that.
It'd be a non-union wage raise for 2024. What these research first, I don't know what the unions are getting here for the. I guess I told because Jennifer's working on her budget because she's offset from the rest of us. I told her to work with 3%, not because that's what the number would be, but this is a safe number to use, but if we want to save some recalculation, we could, by the next meeting, maybe decide on what we're gonna do for non-union employees. That would be a good way to have that done and done. Something to think about.
I'll just have Trina do union then instead, until that's decided, because that will save a lot of work.
Yeah, when we do that, and then if we could get a picture of what they're gonna get, and then we can use help decide what the non-unions can get to.
Okay.
Everybody okay with that? So we can vote on that next meeting, or rather soon anyway, because the health budget is really. That's it for finance, unless you guys have something else, Dave.
That's pretty good. Talk about.
No, not Dave.
Okay.
Well, we talked a little bit about. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that either.
Do we want to do? And finance the official document, you can take the townships for. ARPA money for. Broadband.
Well, we can talk about that real quick.
Exchange.
So, At the last meeting, when we had that nice update from all the broadband people. I requested to get some kind of letterhead, something or other, for that first $123,000 payment. We're gonna have something to take out the townships. I haven't seen anything come through for that,
I will contact the chief.
but just once again, give her opportunity to go to the townships and see if they want to. Contribute any money to this. My recommendation as one person. Would be to at this point in time to offer this as an opportunity to contribute. Towards the broadband expansion. But no, we can't make any promises of who's first, who's last. If you put in this much money, what does it mean? There's none of that plays into this. It's just an opportunity that if you're tired of dealing with your ARPA money, here's a place you can dump the rest of it, so you don't have to be reporting anymore. I know there's some townships that have an appetite for that, so. If we get that together sooner the better, so. That being said, personnel.
We'll start with equalization. Lauren continues to do a great job manning the office on her own. Doing field study and also taking care of the window and phone calls, so she's doing well. I have asked her to keep track of her being wants to see, she keeps track of phone calls, hours in the office and everything, so we want to see that. We did get 11, is that what it was?
15.
15. We get 15 apps or 15 letters of interest for the description clerk job. Haven't seen any yet for the equalization director job. We'll begin interviews, if not late this week, probably first of next week. Hopefully have somebody in place in maybe 2 weeks. Police, we had union negotiations, was that a week and a half ago? We'll have another session to be confirmed what day it was it the 10th? I don't think so. No, I think it may be the 11th. And we'll do it again, and we'll have a closed session today to talk about what that was about. EMS, I did not get the latest update on how successful our initiative on overtime compensation was. I know it did go into effect for that weekend, and there was, I think, 4 or 5, 3. So hopefully it is having an effect. I haven't heard anything more this next couple of weeks. Anything else there? A couple other offices that we're working with personnel. Yep. Wait a minute. No, something else.
I would like to add to that there's been, it's all understandable, but in regards to equalization, we're shorthanded there. We have one person left in that department. We are working very hard to get more people into those positions to fill. So you get 15 people for the clerk, so but even that's gonna move slow, and even when we hire that person, the chances are there's gonna be some training involved, where there can be really a good help the situation, but we're getting feedback from other departments in the public that are disappointed and a little bit upset about not being able to get what they want as fast as they want it, as far as their work goes with their equalization needs for property splits, whatever you normally come into the office for. And I just have to ask, please be patient with us. And also to mention that the other offices in the building, the courts, the treasurer, the clerk's office, are really not equipped to try to handle any of the overflow or the needs that you'd have for equalization. So don't plan on visiting those offices trying to get answers. I understand it's frustrating for everybody, but until we get back to fully staffed and figure out what we're gonna do, it's just gonna take time. There's a shortage of the people with the right talents and qualifications to do these job certifications, what it takes. And it's not only in Michigan, it's nationwide. The whole state of Michigan is the whole United States. So we're gonna keep working to get this resolved and get things to go faster. I talked to Stephanie about putting a notice on the front door to say, the same notice that we put in the paper.
Sure.
And give a handout to the offices, so if somebody, is really upset, wants to get something and goes to a different office, say, well, here's where we're at. And if they want to communicate with the board of commissioners, me personally, that's fine. I won't talk to them about it. Apologize and say whatever needs to be said, but we're doing everything we can to get this done quick. So
And just keep my mind there, we were talking about closing. Remember that, I think I brought that up to the board or somebody else about closing 2 days out of the week. I wanted to catch up on stuff that was so Tuesdays and Thursdays. Who did I talk to? Did I talk to somebody?
we already,
That would be what your motion was. That was
Yeah.
what
Did I make that?
That's already in the paper. It's a done deal.
I couldn't.
that's the notice that I was talking about, that she's gonna
Got it.
enlarge and put right on the front door. To try to avoid some extra traffic in here. I mean,
Well, and on the door not here.
Yeah,
Public entry,
right.
so.
but just to help I realize it's very frustrating for people that want to get stuff done fast, but we're just in a unique situation where it's gonna take us some time to get this worked out. So that's all I have to say about that. We can move on to the treasurer's report, please.
We had our tax sale. The 22nd. The 2nd of August, we sold all 11 properties. I will have your report by the end of the month. We've not received the funding yet. We had a total. The minimum bid was $22,005.65, and we had sales of $238,950. So, and we have one formal claim that's been filed officially on one of the properties. And at this moment, I cannot tell you which one it is or how much it would be, but once the report gets done, then I'll present that to you. And that will be before the end of the month. Does anyone have any questions on the tax sale?
Success, I guess, or.
Yeah.
We got rid of all of them, we're back on the cash roll next year. Other than that, working with a few budget amendments and going over many of the budgets. And working on a few different projects. I did send out to the ARPA committee a request but we have not had a meeting. I was hoping to get that scheduled before the next meeting. There will be a presentation to you with the decision that was made from the ARPA committee in regards to the community center. I know the community center had brought from Hubbard Lake had brought forth a presentation to the board at one time, and they are now requesting some of the ARPA money. And so once the ARPA committee meets, they will get back to you with that information. Just kind of a heads up for you guys. And I'm looking at my pile. And I don't know if there's anything else that you have questions for me in regards to. Taxes are coming in very well, the townships. You had voted on the payouts and those are all done and taken care of for the PILT money. For 25%. And I just ask you to heads up for the budget. All your fun stuff.
Yep. Yeah.
Coming up. Real soon.
It's a very evil grin. I'm sorry.
Well, you know, the honest truth is, as we get out of the ARPA generation here, it's gonna start getting tough again.
Yeah.
All right, so no other questions for Cheryl, then moving on to the clerk's report.
Trina and I attended the county clerks conference in Muskegon. One of the full days was mainly with the Bureau of Elections geared towards proposal 2. And kind of a lot of what I learned was what I can't do. So that was discouraging. The Public Act 81 of 2023 is about 27 pages long. I've made it to page 4. And I had talked to legal counsel, so I'm gonna have to get them involved in interpreting the language. But I'm still at this point trying to gear it here at the county building, at least for the March election. And that will get us started and how everything's gonna work. It was very knowledgeable conference. One other thing I learned was they asked how many of the county clerks do fingerprinting within their office, and over half of the counties do their own fingerprinting. So I'm kind of looking into that for next year, to work into my budget. If we were to purchase the fingerprinting machine, then we can do the CPLs, name changes, the fingerprinting for the background checks, school teachers, anybody else that needs that done. With Dan being here and presenting the ballot language, that's going to be, we'll probably start working on proof ballots here pretty quick because that's coming up soon. And that's about all I have. Any questions?
Okay.
Did you figure out anything about, I mean, it's not until March, it's next year, but if I were to utilize this room, it would fall possibly onto. Well, when I know when the election is, whether it's in February or March, I'll get back to you on that one.
Communications are in your packets for your usual. We'll go on to committee reports. We'll start with Craig.
A whole lot, Veterans Committee, we did a meeting. One of our last one was last month, it's passed it, another. Well, they have and you have to give me the dates back, because I don't remember, what's the date in Caledonia?
23rd.
23rd. Be a veterans event, I don't, what's the title of it? Can you give me the?
Well, it's gonna be an informative. For veterans in that area, just help them out.
Caledonia Township Hall.
Yeah, it's gonna be Caledonia Township Hall. We're gonna have a little luncheon, couple presentations. The Vietnam vets that missed out on the. Last year for the flag and the pins, the service in Vietnam. We're gonna do another one of those.
What's the date on it?
September 23rd. At noon. Starts at noon.
So, that's all I really have to report on is that board, we did have, I think Adam signed the newest updated contract, so I don't think no dirt's moved yet. Or doing anything.
No, well, if I may ask, what's the deal with the permits? Are they been approved?
I haven't seen them. I don't have anything to do with this. I mean, Tom was getting into them. But he had,
Adam, Tom didn't get one to you or ask you or talk to you about it?
He asked me about if he had to pay for them, but he didn't say if he put them in or not.
He asked you if,
He asked me if they're gonna be free.
oh.
That's
Are
all he
they?
asked me.
Are they?
I guess we didn't bring that up. I didn't even think of asking you about that. What have we done in the past? County
Put it
building.
up for a vote.
What's that?
You've taken it on a case by case.
Yeah.
Thing.
I don't think we did it for the snowmobile. We did for the building in Barton City.
I don't know, it's been, like you said, it's been.
That's the last building
Whatever
we did.
it is.
It was a county building, I think, it was the snowmobile one in Barton City. That's all right.
I would certainly urge that we waive those.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's our building, it's county.
You just waive them for ACCOA.
Well, if we need that in order for you to get something going, I would make that motion.
I don't need to get anything going, make a motion right now, and then there's no fees.
All right, I'll make a motion that we rate the building fees for anything to do with the veterans building. Second.
Wait, there's a caveat to that.
Okay,
You've got to pay the $35 to get into the system.
okay,
It's like a registration, because if you don't, it gets lost.
Right.
I'm paying the one for ACCOA and the two of you could split the $35 that are on. Oh, he's not on veteran. I'm sorry, I'm spending your money.
all right, well, we'll get that. That'd be my motion. Second, right? I'm sorry, you saying
You're waiving fees and you.
waiving fees for the building of the veterans.
So then there'll be no fees whatsoever.
There will be a $35 fee.
$35 to get the system. I think they can handle that.
By Craig Johnston, second by Terry Small. Roll call.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh, you're not gonna give them? No, just go for it.
Yes.
Terry Small,
Yes.
Carolyn Brown.
yes.
Dave Yash.
Yeah.
Anna Harvey.
Yes.
Craig Johnston.
Yes.
Waive
Can I
fees
say
for the
something on that?
veterans
Shut
with the
permits?
exception of $35.
The reason I'm asking, because Tom can't break ground till we have it.
All right, well, he needs to get them, get the
All right.
building department. get it.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
That's Tom, he's gotta get that
Yeah,
stuff.
he's gotta do that.
Well, that, I thought he was waiting for you, Adam. I thought he had talked to you, and he's been out of town. I'm supposed to talk to him tonight. When I was in this area, I figured I'd come to the meeting.
He asked me.
Our grant, we only got 2.5 weeks for that grant.
No, he needs to get
I
out.
wanna get him that money and be done with it.
Yeah, he needs to be going.
I signed that,
Yeah, he signed the contract.
he's good to go.
Okay,
Yeah, that's the,
We have.
good deal.
From. the-
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
I got it.
No, I'm done. I'm
yes, I did get an email that said that it's complete, they're reviewing it, and then they're gonna get this.
But they're not
Paper
able to
version.
review.
I have to read it again. I was trying to get on there to double check it, but, how they read it. Or how they wrote it.
Didn't they get a temporary verbal thing and add to them under that?
Yeah, I mean, this is just a written copy. or
Yeah.
a written copy, but they've given it.
Pretty hard to hang your hat on something that's not written.
Hey, we go by emails. Yeah, we go by written. I read them all.
John changed the Wi-Fi
Yeah.
password, so.
You just have to have something.
now I gotta- Takes a while to get back on. All right, I will forward you all the email that I got today, I believe it was. The BEA report is drafted and being reviewed, so drafted, meaning printed or with that, they're gonna do it corrections, I guess. For. I assume it's spelling and comment. Part of the BA asked for a closing date, I sent them so the deed was was filed in the register of deeds, we meant that, needed to be in by August 22nd, we did that. That was all I asked, so we'll get it to them. The printer.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, we hopefully will see something happening in the next week or two. I know Tom's on a job just up the road. I don't know if he's gonna be able to do both or.
Yep.
Right? Any questions? Let me know.
Dave,
Let's see, building department, we've got a cell project that we are doing right now, getting ready for our big trial in November. Total cost is $22,000. They're gonna put a jail cell across from the court. Actually, MIDC is funded it 100%. It will be done by November 28th. At first, thing going right now, I think the cell is on order, and once that's there, you can start going, getting the bathroom put in, and it should be done by that. Northern Michigan Association of Counties meeting this month. They have actually, I don't know if they piggyback onto the aggregate legislation, a solar legislation. The governor feels it's too important to let that in local control. So they want to the state wants to take over controlling all that so they can do with what they want. I know that MAC and our health department have both came out against the septic tank legislation. But as of right now, there's no negotiations. We're gonna find out it's probably gonna pass every 5 years. Everyone will have to have their septic tank inspected, which is a $600 fee. So it's gonna be interesting. There's a lot of things going in the state right now that no one really knows. It's kind of closed door. But because they want Michigan to be the 5th state to do the presidential nomination, they need 90 days in order to, once the regular session is closed, in order to have that. So they're talking about closing it at the end of October. So the state legislature will, it hasn't been in stone yet, so all these bills will have to be passed in October if they're gonna do it. So our legislation, our representative said, expect October to be a very, very busy month. They're gonna slam a lot of bills through.
Most clerks have elections in November.
It's gonna be, yeah. So it's not in stone yet, but that's, we don't know how it's gonna work out, but it's gonna be very interesting, to say the least. That's what I had.
But we could be back with one of our representatives, district health, he's up to 90 hours to write in my thinking, it does not have to be a resolution, but something that we ultimately would be a motion in opposition to, I think, I sent one along some time ago on the septic. I did the one on the.
We did them for aggregate legislation and the septic tank legislation. Actually, District 2 has done a resolution.
But I would like to see us do one also.
We have,
Okay, on both items.
yes, we have both. And I know multiple health departments have done it. But it doesn't matter right now. The health department is one that's gonna run it and enforce it, and they're the biggest ones against us as it's written. But they don't care. They said we have the votes. And part of the big thing they're saying right now is they have 2 legislatures that are running for mayors. One is Westland, one is Warren. If that happens, it'll be a split house. So they won't have a majority, so it's all gonna get done in October.
As an individual, you can write and say, as I evaluate your votes this past year or 2 years. It would only be a year going on here. I am hoping that you will vote X, Y, Z, so I can again support you.
Anything else?
That's it.
I don't have any, substantial, what do you got there?
Just attended Michigan Works meeting. Encourage anyone who's looking for employment or employers to get in touch with them. They seem to have quite a few programs that, including one for EMS, which I haven't talked about, but we're basically working still on contracts with the deputy. Right. I attended the commissioner and Consumers Power meeting the other day. They're going to have public meetings again this fall in regards to the bans. Whether they're going to close them or not, they have some money graphs they're going to show at that time. Their newest thing is they're looking for buyers for the bans, which I believe they're letting 1 year. A year before they have to make a decision. In other words, they're allowing a year for someone to come forward and buy the dam. So kind of, in my opinion, that means that some kicked it down the road for another year before they have to truly make a decision. I think the decision is already pretty close to being made. The figures are not looking real good to them open. That's all of that.
Carolyn?
Been in communication with Bill Pfeiffer regarding the 23-24 indigent defense budget. I feel confident as the years pass that he will have that ready to get submitted in a timely fashion for the beginning of October. I'm thrilled with the help of Commissioner Johnston finally tracked down the newspaper public hearing from the old COVID grant that we had. 911 director Kathy Ball is doing great. She's had staff meetings. She's doing a great job. 211 has their errors. I need to do the interview with the evaluators on Friday. Need to do those, but no reason to believe we would not get the accreditation that we need, but it still has, we have to jump through that hoop. And also had a wonderful meeting with Congressman Bergman. He was kind enough to attend our Veterans Coffee Hour, and I think everybody who was there enjoyed his visit and got some things answered for them. That's the highlights of what I think.
Okay, thank you. With that being said, we'll go to the last section of public comment here. 5 minutes, the person, take yourself. Hey,
Patty Thomas, Harrisville Township. Well, this is actually for the county commission, but Stephanie may have something to say about it too. I'm wondering, I was trained to be a poll watcher during the last election, and our training specifically said that being an open carry state, unless there were requirements by our local county commissioners, like they have at the county building here, people can walk into the polling place with their rifle over their shoulder, and we were not allowed to make any comment or express any concern about it unless they did something that was aggressive, which might be somebody gets killed. I would like to request that, like our schools and churches that have been given permission to have that requirement, no open carry in our polling places. I would like you to consider that for the safety of the residents of Alcona County. And I've got a couple of months, hopefully, a couple of months, maybe not, to work on that. But that I think is really in a democracy, we should not be worried about the kind of confrontations that might happen. The other thing I'm wondering about is I'm discussing the equalization position. Have you advertised outside of Alcona County for that position? Okay, well, I wish you wouldn't.
Yeah, yeah, we have 15 candidates, so.
No,
For
he's talking about
equalization.
Director.
Oh, director.
Yeah.
Oh, I think,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's a tough one.
Did it get on the state website, so they have recommended,
So then Indeed, it's on state website.
and the assessor's website? And
Yeah, it was supposed to, Jamie put it out there. Lauren said she saw it.
And is there any feedback about which issues are, I mean, if it's salary, I think that's, as you're discussing budgets and whatnot, that really should be a consideration. We need to have some quality people in positions that are particularly the ones that are so hard to fill. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Hi, Margaret Sarah Haynes Township. A couple things. The money that you were speaking about, I think Craig, you were talking about this on the broadband, or maybe it was you, Mr. Brady. Opening it up to the townships to use any unused COVID funds. Is that what you were talking about? No.
I can clear it up for you after in a few minutes here.
Okay. I just wondered what that was, because I know in our township, there were COVID funds. But they made a separate account and everything for it, but I don't believe they've used any of those funds. So I was wondering if that was what you were referring to.
Yeah, give me a few minutes here. I'll let you know.
Wonderful. The second thing I'd like to bring up again is about having one of your 2 meetings be nearer to the dinner hour or evening, so that we can include young people in our people that are here to hear about what's going on in the county. It's one thing to read something in the newspaper, but it's another to see, how you interact with each other and the things that you bring up, and especially when you go around the table talking about what your townships are doing and are affecting our whole county, and how that affects them as young people working in our county. I know we don't have a lot of them, and I know that the majority of our population is senior citizens, but we do have those people. I'd really like to see them attending at least one of the meetings that we have, that you've accommodated 2 meetings each month for us to do that. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Public comment? Okay, hearing none, we'll do a short recess. And we'll come back and have our closed session.
Okay,
So roll call for back to the meeting.
okay. Oh, John's taking over the, okay,
Yeah.
go.
Roll call for back to the meeting.
Sorry. Johnston,
Yes.
Brumman. Here. Brady,
Here,
Yax,
Here.
Small.
make a motion to go into closed session.
Quote, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Adam Reed first, did you make
We need a motion to,
You need a roll call.
yeah, we'll call first, but then we need a motion to proceed as discussed. Or
You give us everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We will before it all over done with.
What's going on here? I did unmute myself.
It's nice that Craig and Dave can walk on water, but the rest of us can't.
Okay,
Look better. Oh.
roll call.
Roll call.
Oh, was that?
Brady,
Here,
Small,
we'll talk here, we're done.
Brumman,
Here.
Yax.
Here.
Johnston.
Okay, we're back session. Last thing here is, Commissioner, additional comments, anybody? Hearing none, we'll adjourn until,
Are you gonna make a motion?
we talked about that and I didn't think we had to.
Oh, you give us direction?
I'll make a motion to, for, personnel to proceed as discussed.
Make the offer is discussed.
I'll second.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Meeting adjourned till September 20th at 1:30.
Which I will not be at. Yes. He's.
You do that.